It is Thursday, and I actually got to this spot on Tuesday night. I got here the other night, and when I woke up yesterday, it was kind of late, and it was so cool and so pretty out that I just decided I'm staying here. I didn't even get out of my sleeping clothes. I didn't take any video. I didn't launch the drone. It was too windy all day. It was actually so cool that you almost needed a sweater during the whole day, but it was gorgeous here. So I tried to air out the Jeep a little bit, but the wind was just a little bit too much, so that didn't last very long. But I just enjoyed all this scenery and didn't feel like pushing it, so I stayed here because I wanted to. So that worked out really well. It's now about 9:30. Got another late start, but actually I've already got everything organized in the Jeep. I'm gonna drink a little bit more coffee and launch the drone since the wind's not too bad finally, and show this area. It's really, really pretty. It's almost like a spring day, honestly, or maybe even a fall day. It's that cool around here that I debated getting out a sweater a couple of times, but I'm gonna enjoy the cold weather. I don't know what it's gonna be like in South Dakota in the Badlands, and I'll probably be wishing I had this kind of weather when I'm down in that area, but it is just amazing. So I'll show a little bit of the drone footage, and from here I'm going to Teton National Park, and I'm really looking forward to that. You can see that in the distance a little bit, and so I'll be in Wyoming. And then from there, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, and I do need to take care of a couple of things in South Dakota, so I need to fit that in, and I'll probably have a hotel stay in there somewhere as well. Yeah, that's the plan right now. Who knows, maybe it'll change, but today I'm just gonna really take it easy. I'm not gonna push it and just see where I end up. All right, so after a nice relaxing day yesterday and a nice morning, I did a walk around to the vehicle while I was pumping up gas in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and noticed I had fluid on my leaf spring and then inside the tire and inside the wheel. So I knew it was either brake fluid or gear oil, and it's gear oil. It smells of gear oil, and it's a pretty good leak. So that just started. I didn't notice it yesterday when I was looking around. It's a job I could do in my garage if I had that ability. It's one I could possibly do in somebody's garage, but you need a puller to get the bearing off if the seal doesn't want to come out on its own. I've got a 35C, so that's good and it's bad. It does mean that the bearing's not on the axle shaft, so I don't have to cut it off or anything like that or get creative with getting the bearing off. But I do need a puller to get the bearing out of the tube of the axle itself, and the seal might pop right out, but I don't know unless I got the wheel off and I've got the axle out. And to get the axle out, because it's a C-clip, that's the downside, I've got to take the diff cover off, I've got to take a pin out, I've got to get the C-clip off the end of the axle shaft, and then pull the axle shaft to get at the seal. So there's a positive and a negative to having a 35C when it comes to the maintenance of the seal and the bearing. But without knowing how well that seal is going to come out, I've got to do all that work to get to that point. And I imagine that a mechanic's probably going to charge me a good 2 to 3 hours to do that, I would imagine. So I'm looking at easily a couple of $100 job. I'm actually going to go to an auto parts store and at least pick up a bearing and a seal, in case I can find someone who can do it and already have the parts. And then I'm also going to pick up gear oil, so I have that too. And then hopefully they'll just let me use all my own parts. But so the word's out. Now I'm just going to sit here and wait in the area. I was on my way to Grand Teton National Park, and I'm not going to go in there anymore. Technically, I can keep driving this thing. I just got to keep, making sure that the fluid level's good, because you definitely don't want to let that run low. You'll burn up your gears, and then you're really screwed. So it's just a matter of keeping my eye on it. So I'm not dead in the water, at least, but it is still a pain nonetheless. It's just one of those things I got to deal with. Luckily, I'm in a populated area, not in the middle of nowhere, Alaska or something like that, or Canada. So that's where I'm at now, and now I just wait. So I found a spot outside the Teton National Park. I tried to get something a little bit early, stopped by the visitor center and picked up a map, and I got here about 6 o'clock. I found this on iOverlander, but the spots that were coming up here were kind of group spots, and in order to get a nice view, I would have had to have basically camped right next to somebody, and I really didn't want to do that. So I kept pushing further, hit a couple of dead ends, and then ended up at this location, which does actually have a nice view of the mountains back there, and it's an open spot. There's only one other person back there in a tent right now. I'll leave the coordinates as to where this is. It's not as great as my other spots, but it'll do for being right outside of a major park. For Thursday night, this is exactly what I expected, and tomorrow there's not going to be anything open, and Saturday night, so it worked out for now. So with that view, I can't complain too much. It is a nice view. And then I've got these Teton poles that were probably also formed by the glaciers, and if I want to get some nice pictures with the sunset, I can just walk around them. But overall, it's going to work. And a quick update on my rear seal. As you can see the wet mark there around the drum. I cleaned it all off, the wheel and everything, and I did check the fluid level in the diff. It's a little lower than I would like, but it hasn't leaked anymore even on this trail, so I'm not sure what exactly I'm gonna do. I went ahead and bought a seal. Man, I had the seal replaced not that long ago. I'm pretty sure it would pop off. And if I found a secluded location, I could probably do all this work myself. I got a quote from somebody in town, and they said $200, and I'd supply the seal. But I couldn't get in till Monday, and it's Thursday. So I really don't want to stay here that long to get that done. I really don't know what I'm going to do. If it doesn't keep leaking, I might just keep riding on it. I'm definitely going to pick up even more fluid just to have it so that if I do notice it's leaking, I can add fluid. But one thing that I do want to do now that I'm thinking about it is park this vehicle to the side maybe a little bit so that the fluid definitely doesn't run down the tube and out the seal. But so yeah, that's the update on that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'll figure it out, but that's where I'm at right now. So I'm going to turn this Jeep around. It'll actually help with the wind anyway. Get it leaning the right way, and then start getting ready for the night.